Don't look to Pinterest or social media. It's not about making it pretty, it's about making it functional. Hi, I'm Robyn Amott. I'm a Melbourne-based professional organiser, and today I'm going to show you how to declutter and organise your pantry. So when you're starting out with your pantry, everything's in a muddle and you're not quite sure where everything is or what the actual inventory of content is that's in there. There'll be stuff that you'll probably find back there from 2004, seriously. So it's important to bring them out, check those expiry dates and group them on the table, and then to do a real stock take of, are these the type of foods that our family still enjoys? So one of the things that I find a lot of my clients actually think of first is, what container can I put this in? How can I get this to make it look pretty? We want to focus more on the functionality. Leave the idea of storage containers to the very last minute and only incorporate them where they have a need, purpose or use. Always look to your own resources within your home first. A simple takeaway container is perfect to corral sources that can easily get lost within the pantry. I do love a lazy Susan, and the reason why is that it brings the content from the back to the front. Just because it's a food group doesn't mean it belongs in the pantry. So that's where it comes down to thinking about the zones within your home, where things need to be placed based on where they have a purpose, need or use. So if we take the cooktop as an example, things like herbs and spices and oils are actually used in this zone. So it's great to have them ready and accessible, and it also makes putting things back a lot easier and more efficient as well. So another element that you need to consider when you're doing your organisational placement is that from your head to your hip is what we call prime real estate. So that's where you're placing the items that are used on a regular, all the time type of basis, as opposed to the very top of the pantry here, which is more for storage or for overstock items, sometimes for those special occasion items that are only used when guests come over. In order for our pantries and kitchens to work efficiently, we need to be drilling down the stock on a regular basis rather than constantly fill. So if you actually take the time to do a really simple meal plan, you'll find that your foods will not get to that point where they actually pass their expiry date, and you're actually utilising what you already have here. A lot of food items from the grocery store already come in their own packaging. So we don't necessarily need to decant them unless there's something left over. As you can see here, the way that we've laid this out is, rather than being up that way, one, because it doesn't fit the shelf, but we want to utilise the depth and the height of a space always first. And that way, there's less chance that there's something going to be hidden or lost behind them. One of the number one rules to ensure that food doesn't get expired before its due date is, when you're bringing home your grocery collection, is to actually place the newest items to the back to mean that the oldest ones are still at the front and get used prior to the expiry. So one of the main things that I do see in a client's home is the misuse of space. Here you can see that there's very little air height between the items and the next shelf. And a lot of pantries have minimal numbers of shelves in them. So I would say my number one tip there is, where there's airspace, stick in a shelf, or where you find that you're stacking items that are not of the same category and they're merging together, again, put in a shelf, and it allows you to create that category. So we don't always have an entire 4 or 6 hours, which is sometimes what it can take to organise the pantry in conjunction with the kitchen. So what you can actually do is consider, how do I want this placed out? And if I decide that I want this to be the tin goods shelf, then it's important that you clear the space in order to then create the space. So take out anything that is not of a tin group category and then move all the tin goods into that one space. And just work on that, which may only take 20 minutes. So my last tip is, don't underestimate the vertical space on the internal elements of your door for things like calendars, reminders, even for wall mounting appliances or the paper towel. These are quite often overlooked, and as we're opening these cupboard doors on a regular basis every day, it means that they're not forgotten and tucked away, but at the same time we're not consuming our fridge or the front of the cabinet, and we can keep that clean line look. So I hope these tips have been inspiring for you in decluttering and organising your own pantry at home, and I wish you all the best of luck.